Everybody, grace and peace. We up in the building, up in the house. We here. So I wanted to jump on very quickly, because Mayor Brandon Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor, shout out to Paralegal Institute. If you know, you know. Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing just finished a press conference about the ICE raids that happened in Chicago this past weekend. And they've been pretty serious. Let me just bring this in real quick. Let's look at it. They're using helicopters and chemical agents. Immigration agents become increasingly aggressive in Chicago. I mean, it definitely, you could say like, oh man, it looks pretty bad. I think a better question is, why is the mayor of Chicago allowing people to be in his city, encouraging people to remain in his city that should not be there? Chicago, storming an apartment complex by helicopter as families slept, deploying chemical agents near public school, handcuffing a city council member at a hospital. Activists, residents, and leaders say increasingly combative tactics used by the federal immigration agents are sparking violence and fueling neighborhood tensions in the nation's third largest city. Brandon, to me, I think this is a telltale sign that, again, Chicago has fallen. Chicago is a failed experiment that has proven to not work. It just doesn't. But even more than that, the fact that they have more heat for the people that are trying to enforce the law than they do for the person that has been tasked to uphold the law should tell you exactly what's going on. All right, let's go. More than 1,000 immigrants have been arrested since immigration crackdown started last month in Chicago. The Trump administration has also vowed to deploy National Guard troops in its agenda to boost deportations. But the U.S. citizens, immigration with legal status, and children have been among those detained in increasingly brazen and aggressive encounters, which pop up daily across neighborhoods in the city of 2.7 million and its many suburbs. I don't know what could be done differently to protect those persons who are there legally, who do have proper paperwork and such like that. I can totally respect that. But let's stop pretending like we're talking about a true one for one. We're not talking about that. We're talking about tons of people who are not supposed to be here, who are being arrested, who are being run out. Let's keep that in its proper perspective. Let's go. Activists and residents have taken stock Sunday at the apartment, taking stock on Sunday in the building of Chicago's South Side, where the Department of Homeland Security said 37 immigrants were arrested recently in operations that raised calls for investigation by Pritzker. I want to point out something. They did say immigrants. I think that's interesting because in a moment, we'll talk a little bit more about who they arrested. And it's definitely not just all sunshine and rainbows. We're not talking about a lot of families. We're talking about some very nasty people. While federal agents have mostly focused on immigration heavy in Latino enclaves, that's something else I want you to think about. They're not arresting black folk. I'm not trying to make this a racial issue, but they're not arresting black people. They're not arresting immigrants here from Europe. They're arresting Latino, Hispanic persons. That's going to be a real interesting point when we watch Brandon Johnson's press conference. Let's continue. The operation early Tuesday unfolded in the largely black South Shore neighborhood that has had a small influx of migrants resettled in Chicago while seeking asylum. This is a very interesting dichotomy. Why are they settling Latino persons in black neighborhoods? I mean, Brandon Johnson has made this 1,000% about race. So why is it, since he's so concerned about black people, why is he putting people who are not here legally, who are not able to speak the language, who are not supporting the Chicago infrastructure, why does he put them in black neighborhoods? Just something to ask, something to think about. Wonder why he does that. Agents use unmarked trucks and a helicopter to surround. That's crazy. They're bringing copters in to surround a 5-story apartment building. News Nation, which was invited to observe the operation, reported agents repelled from Black Hawk helicopters. Agents have then went door to door, woke up residents, and used zip ties to restrain them. Okay, they use zip ties because they don't have enough handcuffs. I mean, That's not unheard of. Okay, so here's one of the people that they arrested. And again, this is probably an activist that's probably out there defending, AKA defending these migrants. Notice his nationality. I just think this is crazy. Residents and the Illinois Coalition for Immigrants and Refugee Rights, which canvassed the area, said those who were zip tied included children and U.S. citizens. Okay. I mean, zip tying children, I can get with you, but I don't understand the context. I need to see the body cam footage. If they're just willy-nilly, but if they're just keeping kids because they need to find out the status of their parents, I'm not understanding what the problem is, but let's continue. Roderick Johnson, a U.S. citizen, briefly detained, said agents broke through his door and placed him in zip ties. Okay, real quick. I hate that they did that, but I want to know real quick. Roderick Johnson does not sound like he might be Trey Agua gang member from Latin America. Why are they putting these people in black neighborhoods, y'all? That's the question I think people need to start asking Brandon. That's what people need to start asking Brandon. Why are y'all allowing them to resettle people who are here illegally in your neighborhood? Let's keep going. I asked if they had a warrant, and I asked for a lawyer. The 67-year-old told the Chicago Sun-Times they never brought one. You're never going to get a lawyer at the scene of a pickup. I don't know why people think that if I ask for a lawyer at a traffic stop, if I ask for a lawyer when a cop is asking me a question, like a lawyer's not going to come to your arrest. They're going to meet you at the jail when you get arrested. If you're just being detained, there's no reason to bring a lawyer. That doesn't work like that. That's not the place. A lot of people say we're not going to hold court on the roadside. That's not where you're going to have court. That's just silly. Now, if they truly don't have a warrant and they never did have a warrant, guess what your lawyer's going to do? Your lawyer's going to bring that to the forefront and get the whole thing thrown out. Maybe get you some bread put out after the fact. But you're not going to get a lawyer before you get arrested. That's just silliness. Dixon Romero, a Southside Together, an organization that also has been helping residents, said doors were knocked off the hinges. I mean, how else they going to get in the door? Everyone we talked to didn't feel safe. He said, that's not normal. It's not okay. It's not right. You know what's not normal? Putting people in neighborhoods that they don't belong in. Maybe we should not normalize running cover for people in the United States that don't belong here. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe that should not be okay. Maybe that should not be right. Maybe we should stop inviting people to be here illegally, and then we can keep the game moving in the right direction. I'll just continue. Pritzker, a two-term Democrat, directed state agencies to investigate claims that children were zip-tied and detained separately from their parents. That's actually common practice. If there were a domestic violence case, they would keep the kids away from the mom and dad while they hear the case about the story from the mom and dad. That's not unheard of. If there was a drug situation, they would keep the kids away from the mom and dad while they got figured out what happened with the mom and dad. That's not unheard of. Pritzker, I'm sorry. Separate from the parents saying military style tactics. Okay, I got to give you the zip lining. That's kind of crazy. But we knew it was coming though. We knew it. Chicago was going to do it. I won't be surprised if they start picking people up and take them to the detention center in a helicopter, because if people keep blocking the road and doing all this kind of crazy stuff, they just start doing it like that. Let's go. Shouldn't be used on children. Several Democratic members of the Illinois congressional delegation met near the site Sunday, calling for an end of immigration raids. How about y'all stop allowing immigrants to be illegal persons to be in the United States? How about that? Where is that level of concern? Because they are here. Notice again, these Democrat members are here to support who? Persons who are here illegally, not the black people whose neighborhood they put these people in. I just want you to realize it. I'm just saying. DHS officials said they were targeting connections, here it comes, to the Tres de Agua gang. I can tell you emphatically, no black people are calling their gang Tren de Agua, Aragua. No, that's just not it. The brothers and sisters are not naming their gang that. They're not. I'm going to go on a limb and say that the European gangs are not calling themselves Tren de Aragua. They're just not doing it. The African gangs are not doing this. Why are you putting these people in black neighborhoods? I just wonder, without offering details on arrests or addressing how children were treated. DHS says some of the targeted subjects are believed to be involved in drug trafficking and distribution of weapons and crime and immigration violations. Are you for real? Do you mean to tell me that illegal people do illegal things? Stop playing with me. There's no way that happens. People who are in this country illegally do things illegally. Y'all quit playing. How did we get this far without this knowledge? Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on Saturday posted heavily edited video clips of the operation on X showing agents blasting through doors, helicopters, and adults in zip ties when music played over most of the roughly 1 minute video. Agency, they just can't win, man. They give you information, they lose. They don't give you information, they lose. They just can't win. Agency officials did not return a message on Sunday, maybe because they was out trying to arraign these people that y'all done gave them. Brandon Lee with ICIRR, I probably missed that, said while some residents were placed in ankle monitors, others remain unaccounted for. All right, so this lady getting her eyes cleaned out. Meanwhile, the use of chemical agents has become more frequent and visible in the past week. I wonder why. Because these people are protesting outside of the ICE facility, because they're blocking up the road, because they're making it difficult for the agents to do what they need to do. So why would they not start trying to disperse the people? Used initially to manage protesters, agents used this week on city streets and during immigration operations, according to ICIRR. ICIRR. An emergency hotline to report immigrant agent sightings topped 800 calls on Friday. That's crazy. Not people here illegally tip line, but to let them know about the immigrant agent sightings. The same day, activists said agents threw a canister of a chemical near a school in the city of Logan Square neighborhood. The activity in the northwest side neighborhood prompted nearby Funston Elementary School to hold recess inside. I can tell you as a former school teacher, anything that happens within 2 or 3 blocks of a school is going to get a school lockdown. That does not mean that they're doggone dropping tear gas at the elementary school. It could be around 3 blocks from there. And depends on if there's like a chase. I used to work in the city of Atlanta. They would have car chases, they have shootouts in the middle of the day, mind you, that's kind of crazy. But if it's within 3 blocks of the school, bank robbery, man, just trying to think of some of the things we've had happening with lockdown of school. You're going to lock down a school. That's just it. And it's for the safety of the children. And I don't think that the agents are wrong, because they could have been anywhere doing that. And it doesn't mean that they were, again, just willy-nilly throwing tear gas cans all over the place like a Rambo movie or something. The same day, Chicago alderperson Jessie Fuentes, who was placed in handcuffs at a hospital. She said she asked agents to show a warrant for a person who broken his leg while chased by ICE, who then transported him to the emergency room. Okay, there's a lot of problems there. The person is running from the police. So if they break their leg while they're running from the police, that is not the police's fault. Sir, ma'am, why are you running from the police? But I digress. She asked them for a warrant. How many of y'all think, just show of hands, raise your hand in the chat, if you believe she actually just said, agent person, where's the warrant? Do you have a warrant for this person to arrest this person? Let me know if you have that. Let me know. No, she probably was acting a fool. That's probably what happened. ICE acted like an invading army in our neighborhoods, said State Representative Lillian Jimenez, a Democrat. Shocking. Democrat helicopters hovered above our homes, terrifying families and disturbing disturbing the peace of our community. These shameful and lawless actions are not only a violation of constitutional rights, but of our most basic liberty, the right to live free from persecution and fear. How about the people that are in your community running drugs? Because remember, they said that this gang, the Tren de Aragua, whatever, was guilty of drug trafficking and distribution, weapons, crimes, and immigration violations. I think these people were probably causing more unpeace, disturbing more peace, violating your constitutional rights more than the cops that are trying to get them out of there. Call me crazy. But Lillian, I think the criminals that they're arresting are still several-fold worse than anything that they did. Call me crazy. Continue. Immigration agents shot a woman they alleged was armed and tried to run them over after agents were boxed in by 10 cars. She and another person were charged Sunday with forcibly assaulting, impeding, and interfering with a federal law enforcement officer. However, activists said the immigration agents caused a multi-vehicle crash and detained a woman who is a U.S. citizen. So wait, did she not? See, this is the part that just makes this unserious. Like, you people are unserious. Did she not box the car in, yay or nay? If she didn't, then that's where you should be. You're going to say the agents are just going around just causing multi-crash accidents? Because I think I know what they're talking about, with a woman rammed the DHS truck with her truck, and a subsequent truck came, a SUV came and boxed her and gave a pit maneuver to her car. I saw that video. I just don't know where it is at the moment. But if that's what we're talking about, ma'am, sir, please go be serious. Shout out to the house. I need to buy that. I want to get that t-shirt. I think I should get that t-shirt. Noam has defended the aggressive tactics, calling the mission treacherous to agents and alleged threats on officers' lives. This is an extremely dangerous situation, she said on Sunday on Fox and Friends weekend show. Go to court. Leaders of the Chicago suburbs that's home to an immigration processing center have taken their fight against federal agents to court. The village of Broadview has become a front line for the immigration operation. The center in the community of 8,000 people is where immigrants are processed for detention or deportation. I probably should call it correctly, right? Deportation. Protesters outside have become tense with nearly daily activities. How do these people are able to protest all day? They're there all day long. And remember, they're not protesting for their own people. They're protesting for people that are not supposed to be here. Make that make sense. Civil rights organizations have blasted aggressive tactics by agents, while village officials have launched 3 separate criminal investigations against federal agents. City officials have demanded the federal government remove the 8-foot fence they say was illegally put up outside the facility. They filed a federal lawsuit Friday to seek a temporary restraining order and immediate removal of the fence they say blocks fire access. That is so wild. That is so wild. These people, man, the fence also constitutes an immediate public safety hazard. The lawsuit said that just proves that you can sue for anything. You can sue for anything. Also, pending is an expected ruling on alleged violations of the 2022 consent decree on how federal agents can make arrests in 6 states, including Illinois. While the order expired in May, attorneys have sought an extension and filed dozens of more alleged violations in the past month. All right, so Chicago is burning, y'all. Let's just tell the truth, man. Chicago is on fire. And I'll leave this link in the chat. This is AP, the Associated Press. Shout out to Ground News, man. Ground News. All right, real quick. Thank y'all so much. I just want to watch this Brandon Johnson press conference because it's a telling tale. It's a telling tale. But you know what I'm going to tell? Shout out to Amethyst. Thank you so much, love. What does she say here with the $10 super? But it's normal for gangs to burst in your doors and to tie you up, Colorado. This is New Jack City in 4K, HD, live, a real-time reboot. If you know, you know. Now I want to watch that movie again. Well, there you go. Shout out to New Jack City. And I agree with you, Amethyst, as well. Thank you so much for the $10 super. This is exactly what we're seeing. Like, they have no problem with these thugs and gang members running rampant in their city, in their community, tearing up their neighborhood, running havoc and all of that stuff. But when the police come and the federal agents come to get them out of there, now they got a problem. Make that make sense. Real quick, I want to look at what Brandon Johnson, the stunning sub 10% superstar of Chicago, real quick. Thank you again, Amethyst. Real quick, let's bring Brandon in. All right, I just want you to look at the people behind Brandon. Now, I'm making an assumption. This woman right here on his immediate right in the like burnt orange, she does not look like a Latina at all. This gentleman right next to her, he does not look like a Latino at all. I think it's fair to say we could all point out the brothers in here. None of them look like a Latino. I don't look like a Latino. And the woman that's right there looking at him with those dagger eyes, she don't look like a Latina. Why is it that Brandon Johnson has surrounded himself by people who are not directly impacted by these ICE raids? Why is that? Not only is he putting the immigrants in black neighborhoods, he has surrounded himself with black people during this press conference that are not directly impacted by these ICE raids. That's crazy work. And I mean, Brandon has made this about race to the point that now I think he's literally using black people as human shields for Hispanic people. Where are all the Hispanic people that were upset and in a tizzy in the AP article that we just read? Where are they? Why are they not surrounding him? Why are they not surrounding him? You don't need to have white people because they're not in white people's neighborhoods. Black people, they're in your neighborhoods, but why are you up here supporting Brandon? Because wait till you hear what he has to say. It just makes no sense at all. Shout out to everybody that's in the best live chat on the internet. As I always say, could you please give me a green heart when you can hear? Let's go.
We are here today to talk about the events that have transpired over the past week. The past week revealed the true face of the administration's immigration enforcement in our city, and the entire world was able to witness that. On Tuesday, federal immigration agents raided an apartment building in the South Shore community in the middle of the night. This building was managed by a slumlord that people have all been clear about. The city actually sued the owner in February over 15 building code violations. The residents were dealing with deplorable conditions already, and this was before ICE trampled on them. But when they came in the middle of the night, they terrorized the families that were living there. There were children who were without clothing. They were zip-tied, taken outside at 3 o'clock in the morning. A senior resident, an American citizen with no warrants, was taken outside and handcuffed for 3 hours. Doors were blown off their hinges, walls were broken through. Immigration agents coming from Black Hawk helicopters to set up snipers on nearby buildings. This is America. One resident described the situation plainly, and I quote, "They had immigrants in one van and black people in another van."
So let me just real quick stop for a hot second. Can you imagine if Brandon Johnson was this passionate about getting people out of his city that are causing the problems and the reason and purpose for the federal government to come in and exert this type of force? But no. It's perfectly fine. Nothing to see here whatsoever. They got black people in one van and Hispanics in another van. Let me back up. Did he say Hispanic? I think he did. But this is just silliness. Let's go.
Described the situation plainly, and I quote, "They had immigrants in one van and black people in another van."
Isn't that interesting? He said immigrants in one van. So what is a people group? What nationality are they? What is their ethnicity? I don't use the word race, but what race are they? But then they use black people. We know what black people are because we see 3 or 4 of them in this picture right here. Well, me too. Hey, 5. It's interesting how they did that. They said immigrants. Immigrant, like what kind of immigrant are you talking about? Are they from Europe, North Africa, South Africa, Australia? Where are they from? Alaskan immigrants, Canadian immigrants. Where are they from specifically? I think we all know what it is. That's just such an interesting flex.
This raid wasn't about public safety. It was about and it's certainly not about immigration. This was about a show of authoritarianism, a forceful display of tyranny.
Or I know this is a crazy thought. Maybe it was showing your lack of leadership and your inability, Brandon Johnson, to actually lead, govern, and guide your city. Because you're welcoming people into your city that are criminals, that are here illegally, without permission, no proper paperwork, whatever term you need to use to fit your fancy. But Brandon, you're inviting them in. And maybe that's it. So maybe it's not just a show of tyranny and force and they just want to be big meanie pants. Maybe they wanted to show that, sir, you are not the leader that you think you are. A crazy thought, crazy thought.
They sent a clear message to all Chicagoans. They said, we do not respect your rights. We can do anything we want and we will film it and put it on social media.
So I don't want to keep stopping, but I got to. No, all Chicagoans are not illegals. No, I dare to say all black folk aren't illegals. I know all black folk aren't illegal. I'm not. I'm going to go on a limb and say most of these people behind him, unless you're some weird superintendent in a weird place in Missouri, are not illegals. My point is, no, this is not for everybody. The reason they put those migrants, those immigrants, those illegals in the black neighborhood is so that it would be this problem. That's why. Black folk, they're using you as human shields. They're putting these people in your community so that this will happen. So they will have black people that they can arrest. So they do have black people that they can zip tie and terrorize and disturb the peace because they know that you're going to go out here and crash out on their behalf. Because you don't see any Hispanic people up here. There are no Hispanic people up on the stage or clearly Hispanic, immigrants, migrants, whatever, none of them. So why are y'all up here? Why is he flanked from left to right with people who are here legally and are not the people that are getting swept up? There's not one person up here to represent the Hispanic community that would have been possibly considered one of those people. I'm just saying. They're making a fool of us.
The very next day, ICE agents chased people outside of a homeless shelter on the south side and then caused a car accident on the west side. Immigration agents put a young black man in a chokehold on the side of the street in East Garfield Park.
Just walked up on him, saw the brother right there. Hey, brother, come here, man, brother. Let me come over here and let me put you in a figure 4 headlock. Let me go ahead and give you the atomic bomb. Just out of the blue. Just rolled up on a brother, put him in a headlock. Okay, all right. No context. Car crashing. They just doing Fast and Furious all through Chicago. Just riding dirty. Probably didn't even have a seatbelt on. They just riding around causing car accidents in Chicago. Just doing it. Okay. That's what you want me to believe, Brandon? I totally do not believe it. I'm gonna keep going. Let's go.
Witnesses, one of which you will hear from this morning, bravely filmed the interaction, eventually leading to this person's release. On Friday, agents dispersed tear gas in the middle of a busy city street. Chicagoans were hit with chemical agents while walking their children home from school. A couple ran from tear gas with a 2-year-old child in their care. Agents went into the Humboldt Park Health Center and detained a sitting elected official, Alder Jessie Fuentes, of the 26th Ward, because she simply requested to see a warrant. On Saturday,
why is Jesse's people not there behind you then, Brandon? Why are there only black people nodding their head to this? I just want to know.
Saturday, they escalated even further by shooting a U.S. citizen. They claimed it was defensive fire. But frankly, we cannot trust anything that comes out of the administration. It was only a few short weeks ago that they claimed officers were severely injured in the killing of Mr. Villegas Gonzalez in Franklin Park. A Sun-Times investigation found that the agent said on a body camera footage that it was, in fact, nothing major. We have a rogue, reckless group of heavily armed masked individuals roaming throughout our city that are not accountable to the people of Chicago.
That's called your gangs, Brandon. You literally described your gangs in Chicago. I'm gonna back it up. Rogue, reckless, heavily armed, masked men, not accountable to. That's your gangs in Chicago, Brandon. That's who you just described. The comedy writes itself. There's no way that this guy can be taken seriously. Chicago, y'all are being played, man. Y'all are being played. Let me say that again.
We have a rogue, reckless group of heavily armed masked individuals roaming throughout our city that are not accountable to the people of Chicago.
That's
Their
your gangs.
actions put all Chicagoans at risk. When protesters confronted federal immigration agents in Brighton.
Why are y'all not protesting the gangs then? It's funny, you literally just described gangs, but then you're protesting the agents that are here to get rid of the gangs. Make this make sense. I cannot make this make sense at all. Why are you not protesting the gangs, Brandon? Why are y'all not rioting against the gangs that are terrorizing your city, terrorizing your neighborhoods and communities in 4K all over Chicago?
Park on Saturday, they were met with pepper balls and more repression. CPD responded to attempt to de-escalate the situation, and ICE tear gassed our police officers. Let me be clear. Tear gassing the women and men who serve as Chicago Police Department officers is not how we make our city safer. I'm calling for a full investigation into this incident and into all of the brutality that we have seen over the past week. They are taking police resources that should be in our neighborhoods, serving Chicagoans, and diverting them to deal with the chaos that they are causing. We need ICE out of our city so that we can continue to focus on the strategies that have been working to drive violent crime down. These actions tell us a simple truth. If we allow this administration to take away due process for anyone, we will allow them to take away due process for everyone. They told us that this was about the worst of the worst. In reality, they are going after anyone who objects to families being ripped apart and community members being disappeared. ICE lies and people die. We cannot allow this to continue. We must take action more.
Okay, I gotta stop, y'all. ICE dies and people, wait, ICE lies and people die. So the only people, you cannot make this stuff up. You really cannot make this up. I don't want to sound flippant because my heart goes out to the people, the good people that live in Chicago, that want to just live their lives, that love the Windy City and all that it entails, and they want to be there. The fact that you're being led by this guy right here, that's crazy work. And I was looking, and I think this gentleman right here, I think James might have found it. I was looking to see what their I don't think their crime stats are up for today. I was looking for the crime stats for this weekend, because every weekend in Chicago is like a shooting gallery. And if it's a long 3-day weekend, it's a mess. A holiday weekend, give it up, turn it loose. So I can't wait to see what their stats were. And I guess ICE is responsible for all of this. But what about last year when they had, again, crazy numbers? Anybody getting deleted in Chicago is too much. So why in the world are you blaming this on ICE, which is completely out of pocket? But again, you got to have a boogeyman. You got to create chaos and such of that nature. And Brandon Johnson is doing it. I do want to say thank you so very much to MT with the $2 super says join late. And that's called your gangs, Brandon. Right. He's literally describing gangs in Chicago, which the narrative just writes itself. Like, you're literally talking about what gangs do. Thank you so much for the $2 super. You're literally describing gangs in Chicago, and you're giving that definition to federal agents? Make that make sense. My word, let's go.
Drastic than what we have taken before, because what we are seeing is a more radical attempt to undermine our democracy. And today we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses
I gotta stop.
will no longer serve as...
Okay, I gotta quit. I gotta quit this. ICE-free zones. That worked how well when they made schools Second Amendment free zones? How did that work? Y'all, Chicago, y'all got to do something. Y'all got to get this guy out of office. You got to. That is some crazy work. That is not the same thing, Brandon. No, sir. And now people can declare they don't want ICE there. That is, okay. Y'all, Chicago, he does not want y'all to prosper. He does not. Let's go.
Free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
What are y'all clapping about?
Our school parking lots are not for ICE to load their weapons. They are for Chicagoans who drop their kids off to learn. Our libraries are not for ICE to prepare for a raid. They're for Chicagoans to read and relax. Our parks are not for ICE to set up checkpoints. They are for Chicagoans to play and enjoy.
I really wish Brandon Johnson, look, I'm going to speak on behalf of Chicagoans. I really wish your mayor was this passionate, this driven, this intentional about you all and drug dealers or ladies of the night or any other crime that goes on in Chicago. You would think that the only crime going on is the crime of ICE doing a staging in a library parking lot and dropping some tear gas to break up protesters, which, by the way, seems odd that they don't mention what the protesters are doing. The protesters are noble and virtuous. The ICE agents are total demons. That's crazy work, y'all. They're trying to provide what your mayor is not doing, which should take your breath away. Like they're protecting you more than Brandon is. And the fact that he's big-chestedly talking about that here that's tripping. That's tripping.
Establishments can partner with us to make it clear that private property is private property, and ICE cannot enter establishments without a valid warrant. Private entities may voluntarily choose to display signage to designate their property as part of a citywide network of community spaces that stand together in affirming the safety, dignity, and belonging of all of our residents. By extending this protection beyond city-owned land, the order builds a broad civic shield that limits the reach of harmful enforcement practices. It strengthens neighborhood solidarity, and it reaffirms Chicago's role as a welcoming city.
Why? Yeah, this is crazy work, y'all. Chicago, y'all deserve better than this, man. Y'all deserve better than this guy. He will go through all of these hoops for undocumented, illegal aliens, people that are not here in the country legally, whatever term you need to use. He will go through all of these hoops for them, but will not go through those same amount of hoops to get rid of the drug dealers and gangs and prostitutes and pimps and other things of nature that are going on in your city any other time. The amount of effort that he's putting into this is, come on, Chicago. You're going to have to get a mayor that actually knows what he's doing. This gentleman is not that guy. But I do know the MT knows what he's doing. He's blessing it. He's blessing us right here. You know what? With this $5 super, he says this: I'm about to move to Chicago, hire a bunch of illegals, then declare my company an ICE-free zone. Cheat code. I mean, technically, I don't see how you could fail. You could start a business. So whatever business that recently got raided by ICE, and declare yourself. You probably want to be a self-contained business. You don't want to be one, going out to a building location or they're traveling in your truck or whatever like that. But if you have a location that's right there and you say, hey, we're ICE free, the only problem would be how would they get to work every day? I like that. $5 super means a lot. That's a big brain thought right there. How would they get to work every day? We would have to figure that part out. But we'll figure it out. But I like how you said this also. As a legal immigrant, I support ICE. Do it right. There you go. Like, why are they not doing it right? Why are they in your country for 2, 3, 10, 50 years and not citizens? Why are we having this conversation? Finish up.
Is we cannot allow them to rampage throughout our city with no checks or
Crazy
balances.
words.
Nobody is above the law. If we break the law, you should be held accountable.
Isn't that what a sanctuary city is, though? Isn't a sanctuary city breaking the law? Aren't they breaking immigration law from the word go? Wait, back that up. You can't say that. You can't say that, Brandon.
Allow them to rampage throughout our city with no checks or balances. Nobody is above the law. If we break the law, you should be held accountable. If Congress will not check this administration, then Chicago will.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right. We got some more people around there now. Cameron brought out. All right. I'm going to go on a limb and say that this woman right here on the far left, let's make a big screen. This woman right here in the black and white, she could maybe be Hispanic. She might be Hispanic of some nature. Let me back that up a little smidgen so we get it. Okay. And maybe that woman in the black and white, maybe she's Hispanic, maybe. I can maybe give you that. And this guy over here in the green, maybe he's Hispanic. Why are they not immediately behind him? Why did we have to pan this out? Because we're 8 minutes into this, 7.5 minutes into this presser, and we're just now seeing anybody that would possibly have been brought up in these raids.
I know there are many Chicagoans who are disturbed by the images and the videos that they are seeing on the news and social media. There are many who are scared and shocked by what they are seeing. The truth is that we are at a tipping point. This administration is trying to divide us and pit people groups against one another. They want to divide and conquer. And as I said, in the South Shore, and this has been said very clearly, Black people in one van and immigrants in another. In the face of this unprecedented threat, this moment calls for unity. Black, brown, white, Asian, young, old, north side, west side, south side, we must all pull aside our differences and defend one another. Because if we allow this to continue to be unchecked, by the time we realize what's happening, it'll be too late.
I disagree with Brandon. Not only do I disagree with his ignorant third grade haircut, but also disagree with his very dangerous ideology as it relates to we must fight together. No. Black folk, we don't own, there's nothing we have in this. I'm sorry. This is a truly an immigrant problem. The problem is people who are here legally, that are born here, natural born Americans, are bothering and getting in the mix. Get out of it. This ain't got nothing to do with you. And I hate that they even got these black people and this guy in his suit with that big old knot right there keeps clapping and supporting him. Sir, no, y'all need to step out of this. This is not your fight. You ain't got nothing to do with this. Sure, they had black people in one van. You know why? Probably doing a regular check to make sure that they didn't actually sweep up somebody who has a criminal record. That's normal practice. Normal practice. Not saying I approve of it, but my goodness in the morning. I'm not a criminal. So if you pull me aside and you want to check my record, you want to run my background, you say, oh, Jason's clear to go. All right, fine. Here we go. But watch this. I want you to do that if you found out that there was a criminal. If those black people in that van were found to have been criminals, would you have wanted them to be released? Or would you wanted them to have found themselves on the other end of the law? That's my question I'm asking. I think we all understand and we know that. Come on.
This executive order is a step towards accountability.
He keeps doing these executive orders.
The basic rule of law. In the coming days and weeks, we may be pushed, if not forced, to take even more dramatic action if this administration continues to escalate and provoke our people. In closing, last night I spoke with the governor. And he informed me that the Trump administration is deploying Texas National Guard to our city. We will speak to our response later today.
Shout out to the
We'll
Texans.
do that with the governor as well as the attorney general. For now, let me just say that we are unequivocally going to continue to reject the military occupation of our city. The Trump administration must end the war on Chicago. The Trump administration.
I just want to, how nasty and how slimy is his wording. It's not a war on Chicago. It's a war on immigration. And dare I say more specifically, illegal immigration. That ain't got nothing to do with Chicago. That got to do with people who are here illegally. And Chicagoans need not fall into this foolishness. Y'all are better than this. All right, just checking real quick. All right, let's finish this up.
Administration must end this war against Americans. The Trump administration must end its attempt to dismantle our democracy. Right as we are making historic progress in reducing violence, the Trump administration is seeking to destabilize our city and provoke chaos. We said that they would use ICE as a pretext to send in the National Guard. And now they are doing just that. I've also said for the last couple of years that the extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch. But in the coming weeks, we will use this opportunity to build greater resistance.
You can say that, Brandon, but nobody on the right is believing that. Nobody wants what are you talking about? Who wants a Civil War rematch? That is the dumbest statement. I got to back that up because I really want to make sure that I didn't just hear something insane. I might have heard something insane. I think I did hear something insane. Nobody's let me hear it again. Maybe he didn't say it.
Right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch. But in the coming weeks, we will use this opportunity to build greater resistance. Chicagoans are clear. Militarizing our troops in our city as justification to further escalate a war in Chicago will not be tolerated.
You do know that just like obeying the law is an option, right? Brandon Johnson wants black people to crash out over the National Guard. He wants that. He wants them to crash out over federal agents. He wants that like nothing else. No, there doesn't need to be a war. If you see something, say something like, hey, yo, that guy over there, he's illegal. Keep it moving. Like, why in the world do you think black folk gonna fight over this? I just want to know. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. But Brandon Johnson wants a war in Chicago.
The past teaches us that just because we are on the right side of history, that doesn't mean that we will succeed. It's going to take courage and determination, bravery, unity. But one thing that I know for sure in this great nation,
What you know?
this moment that we are in, Chicago was built for this moment. Immigrants from around the world, descendants of slaves, have come to this city to make it the global capital of the world. And now we stand in a moment that is testing our very humanity, and the city of Chicago will stand the test of time. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's see if they zoom out and show me. Okay, did not. They don't show us who's all there. I think that's very interesting. That's extremely telling, in my opinion. No, I'm gonna just say it again, man. Black folk don't need that. That's not your fight. And the problem is they keep trying to goad black people to emotionally jump in to a fight that has nothing to do with them. They use terms like slavery, rematch of the Civil War, blah, blah, blah. They want to keep bringing in these terms that they think will trigger black people to jump in and crash out on their behalf and become cannon fodder. And that's just not it. Black folk in Chicago, step away. Like, that's not your fight. Walk away from it. Yeah, walk away. Do not let them goad you into it, Chicagoans. Y'all are better than that. And leave the immigrants, get the immigrants out. Why are they putting the immigrants in black communities? You got to wonder that. That should have been a question. Why are they not in the more affluent neighborhoods and such of that nature? Why are they not there? Why are you putting them in black neighborhoods? Why? That's the question I don't think anybody realistically can answer, because I don't think there's a good, valid answer, except we trying to goad you into black folk into getting arrested. We trying to goad black folk into getting caught up with the feds, and then they cause a big old issue. That's what you want. Because when it happens, y'all gonna be like, yeah, why? What happened? You done put Trade Dego Agua in the doggone hood, and what happened? Something popped off, went left. Man, this is sad, man. Shout out to Chicago, man. I'm praying that y'all get it together for sure. And I'm praying that y'all get rid of Brandon Johnson and get a real leader. Get a real leader. But, you know, we got some real people that really blessing this ministry right over here. They're helping the boy out. What does he say here? What's MT with the $2 say this? They can use the Polish underground to get to work. Well, there you go. But aren't there Ninja Turtles in the Polish underground? I don't remember how that worked. MT, y'all put MT in the chat. He's out of control. But Brian is up here as well. Thank you so much, Brian, for $5 super. Says this. Does Brandon even know how many which immigrants are in Chicago saying this stuff? No, Brandon doesn't care. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Brandon wants black people to hear this and jump to defend any immigrant whatsoever. He wants black people to fight the federal government because he sees them as Trump, and he wants to fight Trump. He wants black people to fight Donald Trump. That's what he wants, based upon information and belief. He don't care if immigrants, legal or illegal, do anything. He wants black people to fight against Donald Trump. That's what he wants. MT says this: if illegals are Americans, I want my money back. Amen. Shout out to and thank you for the $2 super. I agree. Like, when do people actually realize that, yo, this is not appropriate because we Americans are not getting what we Americans are funding through our taxes and other means that they take money from us. We're not getting what we're paying for. When does it ever change? When does it get better? I want to know. But thank you so much for the very kind supers. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a wild thing, man. Wild. But shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with me. I will be jumping on live later on today, to go over our friend Candace when she does her live stream. We'll be doing a watch party, or I'll jump on later, depending on when she actually uploads it. I do want to ask a question. If you could hit the like button and in the chat, tell me what number you are when you jump into when you hit the like. So if you're like number 75 or number 35 or 112, whatever, just hit the like button and tell me what it was. Or if you remember when you did hit it, let me know what number you were. 79. Okay, cool. There we go. I might start asking people to hit that and just like, hey, pop. Of course, Brian was number one. Brian, of course you were number one. Was there an option 2 for that? I don't remember. 80. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lady Catherine. Hey, don't worry about it. It's between me and you, Queen. 70 something. I love it. Not how old I am, but I appreciate it. Okay, so that does work. Okay. Hey, it's all good. 63 it is. Just don't say 67, okay? Just don't say 67. Y'all, I appreciate you so much.
If you grew up in the...
We are going to come back this afternoon. I do have some pretty good live streams planned for us this week, so hopefully we'll have some good time with that. It's just between us. It's just between us. Don't tell nobody. I do have some good live streams planned, and I definitely have some good, I got some videos dropping for you. I got a video of Nick Fuentes. Oh my gosh. I think this is probably the most vicious takedown of Candace Owens that Nick Fuentes has ever done. That's going hot at 3:00 today. So hopefully that'll tide you over until our 5:30, 6 o'clock live stream as we look at the most recent Candace Owens conspiracy breakdowns, whatever she drops is going to be crazy. I know. We might need to have a prayer circle. That might need to be a thing. Okay, so I might start that as a trend. Free to love and everybody else might say, hey, when you jump in, just hit the like button and tell me what number like you are, just to kind of get a tally so I can see, so I know about how far we are on the likes, and it gives me a good gauge for that, because I'm trying to get 65,000 likes this month, which is a lot. That's kind of crazy. But I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for hopping on such a quick little short live stream. Just want to talk about real quick what's going on in Chicago. Because, man, Chicago needs a lot of prayer, man. They really need good leadership. And I'm hoping and praying it is possible for them to get good leader. And it's not just their mayor. They got a lot of lower tier leaders that are also just as bad as Brandon. But my goodness, in the morning, man, Brandon Johnson, that guy is a mess. Yeah, it's going to be wild. But let's do this real quick. I will see you all around 5:36. As soon as I know when Candace is dropping that live stream, I will put it up for us and let y'all know. So looking forward to doing that real soon. And we'll be having some real fun. We'll have some fun for sure. So everybody have a great rest of the day. Work hard, and I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.